Can I drive there?
What time is it?
It's 3 o'clock.
Oh no, I'm late.
Where are you going?
To the dentist.
Can I drive you there?
Sure, that will help.
Do you have a toothache?
Yes, and it's very bad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I've had it for weeks, and this is the first time that I could get in. My dentist is always so busy.
I guess that's a good thing. It means a lot of people like him.
The weather.
What is the weather going to be like today?
It looks like it's going to rain.
Oh no. I thought it was going to be nice.
The forecast said it's going to be rainy and cold all weekend.
We were going to have a barbecue, but maybe we should do it another time.
The weather has been really unpredictable lately.
I really hope that it won't rain. Yesterday it was sunny and warm.
Maybe it will be better next week.
I sure hope so. This summer has been very rainy so far.
How are you?
Hello, David. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine too. What are you up to?
Not much, just work. And you?
Same. Busy with work.
It was great talking to you.
It was very nice talking to you, too.
See you around, Sarah.
Bye.
At the restaurant.
Could I have a menu?
Yes, here it is. Would you like something to drink?
I would like a water, please.
Are you also ready to order?
Yes, I would like the salad and the curry, please.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Enjoy your meal.
Cooking together.
Would you like to cook dinner together?
Sure, I'd love to. What would you like to eat?
I was thinking maybe vegetable soup.
I love vegetable soup. What ingredients should we use?
I have carrots, onions, zucchini, and broccoli in the fridge.
Great. Then let's use all of that. I'll dice the zucchini and the onions. Do you want to prepare the broccoli and carrots?
Yes, I'll do that. Should we add some pepper and garlic?
Oh yes, that sounds delicious. We could also bake a baguette in the oven.
Very good idea. How do you want to season the soup? With salt and pepper?
Yeah, and with some chili, if that's okay with you. I'm really hungry already.
Me too. Who taught you how to cook?
My mother. She is a great cook. We always used to prepare dinner together.
If you set the table, I will finish the soup, and then we can eat.
Sounds good.
The town's new community center.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Excuse me? Could you spare a minute, please?
Oh, hello. Sorry, I was in a world of my own. I didn't hear you there.
No problem. My name's Katie, and I'm a second-year sociology student. We're doing a research project on the importance of community centres to local residents. May I ask, are you a resident of Malton?
Yes, I am.
That's perfect. Would you mind answering some questions about the facilities you use? It won't take very long.
Of course. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Fire away.
Great. OK, the first questions are to do with you. So can I ask how old you are? We need to know for statistical purposes later.
Well, I'd like to say 16, but I'm 59. 60 next week, in fact.
Oh, congratulations for next week. Now I just need your postcode and then we'll get started.
Right. Well, that's an easy one. It's HA87 UP.
7A8HQP. Was that right?
No, my dear. It's HA87UP.
Right. Okay. Sorry for the confusion.
That's quite all right. Now, what about these questions?
Yes, let's get started. So, one of the most important things we need to know is which of the facilities you already use.
Right, okay.
Okay. What about computer facilities? Do you currently use public computers anywhere in town?
Yes, I do. I go to my local library.
Great. Just jotting that down. Okay. What about local sports facilities?
Yes, I get down to the swimming pool at least twice a week.
And education facilities? Are you currently attending any courses?
Yes, I go to Spanish classes every Friday at the Further Education College.
That's great. I must say, you're very active. Okay, we're halfway through. The next bit is all about how the community centre could be improved, if at all, that is.
I see. Well, I'll give it a go.
Well, firstly, I'd like to find out your views on sports facilities. Which sports do you think the community centre should offer that it doesn't already?
Well, I'm not going to say swimming, as there's no point having two pools in a town of this size. Let me think. What about yoga? I know it's very popular these days. Yes, yoga and badminton. I used to play, you know.
Really?
Yes, and I was quite good, though I'm probably a bit rusty now. It's been years.
Okay. Do you think the classes should be split into groups?
Yes, that's a good idea. I know that if there were classes only for pensioners, I'd definitely be more likely to play. I'm not as fast as I once was, you know.
Okay, I'll just write that down. Great. Now we're nearly done. I just need to ask you some questions about education. What kind of classes do you think the centre should offer that it doesn't already?
Well, I suppose the kind of thing that's no longer offered at the local college. Things like arts and crafts. Those kinds of classes have now closed as they weren't financially viable, apparently.
Yes, I heard about that. It was such a shame. Those kinds of classes are so important for the psychological well-being of those most vulnerable in a community. OK, I've written that down. Now I need to ask you whether you would be willing to pay for any of the services we were just talking about.
As long as it wasn't too much, I have nothing against contributing. Something like £2 per class seems like a reasonable rate for an old man like me.
OK, and lastly then, I just need to know how regularly you think you will use the new facilities if the community centre makes the changes you have suggested.
Well, I'd say 3 times a week, which is more than I go at the moment. I only bother on Mondays and Wednesdays, as there's nothing else on during the week that interests me. But I would definitely get out of the house more if they were to make those kinds of changes.
A tutor talking to a student.
Hi, am I bothering you? Is it okay to see you now?
Hi, Jack. No bother. Please come in. As you're a tutor this year, it's my responsibility to oversee your assignments. Now, where are my notes? Oh, yes, here they are. OK. I see that we were going to look at your case study on the challenges of urban planning in the 21st century and how to make it as green as possible. How's it all going?
Actually, I'm pretty happy with it. Can I talk you through it to make sure I'm on the right track?
Of course, please do. I'll stop you if I have any questions.
Okay. Well, I started by giving an overview of what green urban planning has been up until now. Firstly, there's the idea of a green belt. This is the one that everyone's heard of. But I found that while it was successful for a short time and in limited cases, it grossly oversimplified things.
Well, that's a good and practical start. What else did you look at? I hope that you also considered the idea of decentralisation.
Yes, that was really interesting, as although there were no objections to it, and it looked good on paper, it just didn't work in practice.
Yes, a conundrum indeed. However, I think you'll find that there are many fads that come and go in this area. It isn't the first, and it won't be the last to simply disappear off the face of the planet. Well, this is all very good so far. What did you look at next?
I then researched the 1960s fad of building new towns on new sites, but I found that although there are isolated cases of success, they tended to cost too much time and money to build.
Keeping to that theme, have you considered the idea of brownfield sites? That is, sites that previously had another use, being converted into residential areas.
Like the idea of buildings that were once banks being turned into restaurants, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, I'd say it's a pretty important option in most urban areas today. Even though there have been issues with safety, if the land were contaminated in any way, at least it tends to attract no objections from local residents.
Okay, thanks. I'll make sure I put that in.
Anything else?
Well, I'm not sure about this last one, but I thought the idea of pedestrianizing central areas was an interesting concept. Do you think it's valid here?
Well, it's certainly not a bad idea. The only thing is that it would probably intensify the problem of congestion in inner city areas and would disrupt local residents' sleep if the construction work were to happen during the night. The use of loud excavators to repave the area would be inevitable.
Yes, I take your point. But in some older cities, I think it's one of the few viable options.
Well, as long as you state that, then it can definitely be included.
Okay, so that's my introduction to urban planning sorted. But now I come to the main part, which is the case study. It was really difficult to choose, as there are so many good examples. But in the end, I settled on Curitiba, which is the capital of the South Brazilian state of Paraná.
Ah, yes, nice choice. How's the research coming along?
Well, to be honest, I'm finding the amount of material a bit too much. There's such a diverse range of statistics that it makes it almost impossible to be selective.
Well, tell me a bit more about what you've discovered, and then we'll see if we can come up with a plan to tackle the problem.
Well, it's fascinating. Local authorities managed to achieve so much since the 1960s, principally because, rather than waiting for central government initiatives, they chose a cohesive strategy where residents were consulted. Then they took their ideas and implemented them into local government planning to come up with a plan everybody was happy with.
A bottom-up approach. Do go on.
Well, the transport system is a real example of the town's eco-friendly image. Even though they have one of the highest number of cars per person in the country, they also have the highest number of people using public transport. This is because poor and elderly residents are able to benefit from a social fare that allows them to use the system for less. This has led to low levels of pollution, which also encourages citizens to use bicycles more.
Well, that's really impressive, Jack. Well done. But I do have some suggestions to help you with finalising your case study.
Please.
If you're going to prove Curitiba's success, you need to refer to specifics. You mentioned pedestrian-only areas in your introduction. How about that?
Yes, okay.
And what about the amount of parking for all of those cars?
I didn't come across that in my research, but I can look it up.
Yeah, I think it's important.
And what about considering where people live in relation to their place of work? If they live in the suburbs, how about mentioning how far they need to travel in order to get to work?
And don't forget about their recycling strategy, including how easy it is and how much they recycle, making sure you include statistics to back it up.
Okay, got it.
All in all, Jack, you've really done your homework, and I very much look forward to receiving your final draft.
Thanks, Professor. You've been a great help.